This one comes from listener Cece. All right. It says, hey, Mandy.
Wait. Cece, do you love me? Name that song.
Isn't it Kiki?
It is, but I'm just saying, like, yeah. Name that
Drake.
Song. Yes.
Drake. What's it called?
Meanwhile, I don't even know what it is.
I don't know.
If you're riding, but at least you knew Drake. That's good enough.
I could do the song from TikTok. I mean, the dance from TikTok. That's where you had to get out of the car while I was still moving, right?
Yes. All right, go ahead. Read from Cece.
Okay. Cece says, Mandy, thank you. Oh, sending thanks for how you've maintained the show in Tiffany's time of healing. I hope Tiffany feels all the love being sent her way.
I do. Thanks.
Thanks, Cece. Cece says, I recently bought my first property and moved out of my old apartment in February. I'm in the same city and have the same utility companies, but new accounts. Today, I received a call from a collections agency saying I didn't pay the final gas bill, which was due in March. The amount is only $35, but I don't remember getting that bill or any past due notices. It's completely possible that I lost track of it during the move. I went ahead and paid it, but now I'm worried that my credit score will be negatively impacted. I've had a perfect payment history on all of my accounts for almost 15 years, and now I'm worried that I've ruined it over $35. Aww. Please tell me what I should do. Aw, Cece, it's going to be okay.
Yes. First of all, Cece, let me tell you something. Like, one of my credit cards, I totally forgot to make a payment. And I thought I had automated, but I guess I didn't. And so, child, my credit score went from, and this is recently, an 802, Mandy, to a 687. I was like, the audacity, the goal.
Was it like super duper late? How late are we talking?
No, I mean, honestly, probably like a month late. I didn't even know. Like, I went in to look. I was like, wait, what?
Because I've missed credit card payments too, because I'm very disorganized sometimes.
But I couldn't believe, you know what? It was two. That's why. It was like, I had made it late and then I was like, okay, I'm going to automate. And then the next month I forgot to automate. So I think it was two late payments in a row. So I dropped so many points. And at first my stomach sank. I mean, to go from an 802 to a 687. But then I remember, I'm not trying to buy nothing. Like, I have 2 homes already. I have a car. I'm not borrowing any money. That your credit, like, that's like my 80-something-year-old dad stressing about credit. It doesn't mean you don't want to have decent credit, because you should. Credit basically says you should know me before you need me. So certainly you want to have a strong credit score, but you said you just bought a home. So I'm assuming you're not looking to borrow money anytime soon, especially not for a property. And so even if it does drop you, you have time. Like, since then, it's been like 3 or 4 months. And of course, I've made my regular payments. I've automated it. And now I'm at instead of a 687, I'm at like a 710 now. And so I'm sure by the end of the year, I'll be back in 800s, because, girl, you're going to hold me down. But I say all that to say, try not to stress so much. And I wonder, Cece, did you call the gas company, or did you pay the creditors directly? Because sometimes, just so you know, in the future, you might be able to reach out to the original company that you owe to see if I make this payment, can they kind of like pull back reporting that you were late? So that's just something to consider too.
This exact thing happened to me. It's after college. When I left, I graduated college and my roommates moved out, and I stayed for an extra month that summer because I was saving up to travel. And anyway, I got stuck with this, I forget which utility it was, but same situation. Like, I moved out and then I didn't realize it was still being charged, and it was like several months. So it actually was a collections agency at that point. And I was like, okay. But I wonder too, because it was only a month late. Sometimes businesses have, or even utilities or like other agencies, municipal agencies will have internal collections teams, and they can make it seem like it's the big bad scary debt collectors from the street, but it could just be someone from their company who wants to scare you enough to get you to just make your payment. So I would get clear on that, and this happens to me with doctors' bills. It's so damn hard.
They're notorious for like, it's a collection agency, girl. It's Barbara down the hall. It is Barbara down the hall.
It's Barbara from downstairs with her $30 copay, and I'm like, really, Barbara? Like, why? And like, so much wasted mail, so many notices about this copay, and then it's so hard to keep track of which ones you paid and didn't pay. Anyway, so that happens to me. It has several times with doctor's bills. And at that point, I'm like, listen, I'm going to call the office directly, like Tiffany said, and make a payment, and then they'll get off your back. But, even if it did ding your credit score, just like Tiffany said, it will bounce back with other good behavior. And it's another good, reminder to just, if that happens, don't ignore it. Just quickly call, because you may have prevented it from, if it's not, how many days delinquent? I feel like after 45 days delinquent, 60 days is when creditors will report it,
Yeah.
But like your first, because I've not missed several credit card payments because like I said, a little disorganized lately. I'm trying to get better about it, and I usually catch it really quickly, get on online chat with them and get it taken care of
Squared
without
away.
having any dings to my credit score.
Yeah. And honestly, too, you have to know that the biggest ding is within like the first 2 months. That's when it's like, yikes. But then it loses some power because your credit score is like, I want you to think about like your financial GPA. It's an average of all of your financial choices as it relates to paying back. So it sounds like you've been an A plus, 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 plus student. So now you've gotten this one D. So that one D does not take an A plus 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 student down to a D. It just might take you down to a B, a low B, And so, but what happens is you continue to pay on time and in full, and you will get other A's to offset this one D. And before you know it, you will be back in A's again. Like I'm already like, girl, they had me down in C. We not fit for C, C, C. Mm-mm. So now I'm in a B minus. I suspect in a couple months I'll be a solid B, and I'll be back in A in fighting form, not borrowing any money anyway. So yeah. So I mean, that's for anybody who like stresses. Like if you're not actually borrowing money, then I wouldn't stress too much. But you do want to always like, with your credit, you do want to make sure that especially if you're young, that you have your credit gearing and ready to go, ideally.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Cece. Thank you so much for your question and for your beautiful and kind words.